Hi everyone, we are Group 15. Our project is a Mickey processing toaster, and here's a demo. Our first component is the user interface PCB. Here we have the Raspberry Pi, and this is the power PCB. This is the relay switch that we have. This is the camera model, mounted straight to the toaster. And here we have the LED lights on the sides. We have two of them. Here's an overview of our project. This is the glass of the toaster. That's the camera what we'll be seeing through. And this is our monitor. We have the running code for our system. This is an overview of our cable management for our project. And this is an overview of the project as well.
In our first trial, I'll be toasting a slice of bread using the camera mode. Looking closer at the user interface PCB, you can see that the LCD screen has the two options, camera and timer. We'll be using the camera mode. When I select the camera mode, if I pan out, you'll see a pop-up appears on the screen. It's been selected, and there's our pop-up. One of the requirements for our project was to have 9 different target colors for the user to pick from. Initially, it places you on the 4th one. So if I pan up, we can start from the darkest and go to the lightest. So there's 1 mode, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. If I pick a mode such as this one, and I zoom in to the camera, you'll see on the camera there's a light next to the camera lens. Currently, that light is off. When I pick the mode here and I confirm it again on the PCB, it says target mode set, push to start. I can zoom back in on the camera here, and when I hit it again, you'll see the camera light turns on. That's another requirement of our project. And currently, the toaster is running, or at least the image processing is. So you'll see an image was taken of the bread and is shown on the screen. Since the toast has not been pulled down by the lever on the toaster, currently it's not toasting. I will do that now. Every 15 seconds, the image on the toaster updates. In hindsight, it would have been better to have this be faster. Unfortunately, that is a limitation of our Raspberry Pi 2 Model B. Since it only features 1 GB of RAM, the speed at which image processing can run at is limited. If I had chosen a better single board computer, such as the Raspberry Pi 4 using 8 GB of RAM, it may have been able to run faster. Fortunately for us, 1 GB of RAM is still satisfactory for making the project work. It just is slightly slower than it could have been. That is one future improvement that could be done on this toaster in the future. I'll remain quiet while the bread continues to toast. You can see the bread is beginning to change color. I'll zoom back out so we can watch the whole toaster and watch as the injection process happens, which should be happening soon. With the first trial done, we can view the results of the toast. By bringing up the same color that we toasted it to, I can do a side-by-side comparison. You can see the toast is quite accurate. One limitation of the toaster is that it toasts slightly faster on the top half of the bread. The result of this is that the top half tends to be slightly darker color than the bottom half. The image processing primarily focuses on the bottom half. This is because from this point up that I'm indicating on the bread, the screen gets covered by the window, or the bread gets covered by the window. So when I pull it down, you can see the top half of the bread is mostly hidden. That's unfortunately the part that gets burnt. For the next trial, I'll be toasting a slice of bread again using the camera, but this time I'll be toasting it to a lighter color. So coming on the camera mode, I can select this, and then a pop-up will appear again where I can set it to be a lighter color. Let's use this one. Now I can confirm my choice and then start the toasting. This time the bread should cook faster because the color is lighter, so the bread does not need to toast for as long. And there we go. The bread ejected almost immediately because it's such a light color. However, the bread color does match. Quite closely, I should say, too.
For our first requirement and specification, we have 9 colors displayed on a computer monitor. So we picked all 9 colors and we tried them individually, and we record the results in the table showing in this slide. We repeated number 4 as it's our default toasting bread color, and we recorded the matches of each color at a time. For our second specification and requirement, we have the camera LED activation lights, and that's when in image mode, when the user confirms the target color selection, the camera turns on to begin collecting data from image processing, and that's causing the camera to turn on and a green LED on it. So we timed once we click on the selection and then when the LED light turns on. As you can see in the table, we have 10 attempts and with average time with 2.48 seconds.
For our last trial, we'll be demoing the timer mode. So if I zoom in on the user interface PCB, you'll see the camera timer mode selection. I'll move down to the timer mode. When I select the timer mode, I get an option to set the time. This uptick mark represents whether I'm changing the seconds or the minutes, and I can change this with the left and right buttons, as so. The minutes can be set between 1 and 6. The reason we did not go above 6 is because toast tends to just turn black beyond that point. So I can keep pressing the button and it will not go beyond that. If I go back down to 1 minute, I can now show going to the seconds. When I go to the seconds, I increment the seconds in intervals of 10. So I can go up from here. So if I set minute 30, then I can go over to the minutes and change this to 2.5 minutes. And I could select that if I wanted to, and I could start the timer on 2.5 minutes. For the sake of this demo, I'll do a slightly shorter time. Let's do a minute 30. I hit push to start, and it starts, and the timer begins counting down, and I can pull down the toaster. And as you can see, the toast ejected when the timer reached 0.
For our third specification requirement, we have a usable timer on the LCD screen, and we have it between 1 to 10 attempts, setting the time between 1 minute and 30 seconds to 6 minutes as a maximum. And every time we record a success that the bread is ejected at the exact time.
Thank you. This concludes our final demo for our senior design project, Toasty, a smart toaster for the modern kitchen.